Washington is being rocked tonight by two major developments that could impact the Russia investigation.
And the House Intelligence Committee has turned into a political battlefield with Democrats and Republicans bitterly divided over a vote to release a report critical of the FBI. KCAL9 political reporter Bryan joins us now to sort it all out for us. Dave?
Yeah, just another normal day in Washington, right? These days, I mean, it's getting to be the norm. Democrats charge this is just one more Republican tactic to distract the American public from the Russia collusion investigation. First, the deputy director of the FBI suddenly resigned without notice today and walked away from the agency under heavy pressure from President Trump. And then a House committee voted to release that controversial GOP memo that makes the case that the FBI and Justice Department allegedly abused surveillance practices in going after a Trump campaign advisor.
But it is a sad day indeed.
On another chaotic day in the nation's capital, the gloves came off as a political war erupted over a party line vote to publicly release a controversial Republican memo, a memo that blasts the FBI and Justice Department, alleging bias against President Trump while pulling their punches in the Clinton email server investigation.
I know that the Republicans are trying to impeach Hillary Clinton. She is not the president, so I think we need to focus on who is the president and whether or not Donald Trump conspired with Russia and whether there was obstruction of justice.
When you read the memo, you'd be hard-pressed to argue that we're defending anybody.
The memo was spearheaded by Visalia Congressman Devin Nunes, accusing the FBI of abusing surveillance laws. CNN reports sources say the four-page, highly politicized memo drafted by Republican staffers charges that investigators obtained a surveillance warrant of a former Trump campaign advisor by withholding crucial information from the judge who issued the warrant. California Congress members were divided along strict party lines over the GOP memo.
Having read this memo, I think it would be appropriate that the public has full view of it.
Because today this committee voted to put the president's personal interest, perhaps their own political interest, above the national interest, in denying themselves even the ability to hear from the department and the FBI. And that is, I think, a deeply regrettable state of affairs.
I think that the best thing to do for the country is to release this information into the public square, and then let's have a thoughtful and thorough debate about the type of country we want to have.
But fueling the controversy in another straight party line vote, the committee voted no to a plan to release a Democratic memo which contained other facts and very different conclusions. The heated memo controversy erupted just hours after the number 2 man at the FBI, Deputy Director Andrew McCabe, suddenly announced he's retiring and walked out of the FBI headquarters. Democrats charge the toll among those who have investigated the Trump administration is rising.
It seems like that anyone that's been involved in this investigation ends up bearing the brunt of a series of attacks.
I fully complied with every rule that I was governed by.
McCabe oversaw the investigation into Hillary Clinton's private email server and became a lightning rod for President Trump after it was revealed his wife received nearly $700,000 from Democratic Party sources in her unsuccessful race for the Virginia Senate.
Well, McCabe got more than $500,000 from essentially Hillary Clinton. And is he investigating Hillary Clinton?
McCabe also oversaw the Russian investigation when it was run by the FBI. In recent weeks, President Trump has sharply escalated his criticism of McCabe, tweeting that he was racing the clock to retire with full benefits. CBS News reports McCabe was strongly encouraged to step down, and the Clinton email investigation may have played a role in that. In a message to FBI employees Monday, Director Christopher Wray mentioned the results of an Inspector General review of that probe and said the FBI must perform at the highest standards. CNN reports its sources said McCabe told some friends that he felt he was under increasing pressure to step down. Now, as we mentioned in the report, adding fuel to the fire among Democrats, once the House Intelligence Committee passed the motion to publicly release the controversial Republican memo on surveillance abuses at the FBI, they voted down a similar plan from Democrats to release their memo, which disputes much of what the GOP memo contains. Got that, Jeff and Lena?
So far, so good, Dave. Thank you so much.